Mic check. We're at the halfway point of the countdown here. Hello, everybody. Zeno here. It's funny that I'm nervous, even though this is just like another stream when you really think about it. Oh, now the cats are making noise literally right now. That's funny. All right, so I'm making sure everything's ready to go. I'm pretty sure the latency is pretty low. I was thinking about streaming at 1440p, but I think I opted in to have more of the real-time experience because YouTube really gives you one option or the other. Hello, Fox Magi. Ahoy. You know, that's a famous thing that this ship is known for Ocarina of Time, so that's very fitting. I like that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and let the music continue its little bit while we prepare for the preview trailers before we get into the real thing. So stick around.
Yeah.
Darn, I was off by about 20 seconds. Here we go. We're almost ready. Legend of Ingo? I hope so, but nah, it's not going to be like that. Oh, I'm a little early. I didn't mean that. I pressed the wrong button. Hello, everybody. Are we ready to watch the reveal trailer of Project HK? Now, for the past while, I've been working really hard the past month to make sure this is all working because, how do I put this? If you've ever seen the video, I pretty much lost everything I worked for at the beginning of December, and I've had to just work my ass off to make sure everything worked because it was supposed to release right before Christmas. So, this has been a lot of work in the making for the past little while, but I've always wondered, like, if anyone ever wondered what the heck it meant by saying the words HK. What the heck does that stand for? Well, the trailer will show you here in a millisecond. Let's go to my full screen. Prepare your ears, because I am terrible at audio balancing, so here is Project HK. Yep. Project Hyrule Kart is finally out, Pack 1. So, in this mod pack, we have 4 reveals. You saw them: Ingo, Malin, Talon, and a track called Hyrule Field from Ocarina of Time. Here in a second, we're going to demonstrate the 3 characters, the track, and I'm going to explain right before we do all this the entire prospect of what Project Hyrule Kart is. It isn't just this. It's going to be a long project that's been working along the lines. The main reason why this project has taken so long... You know, I'm going to get some music in the background. Oh, that's... never mind. Give me a second. Where's my technical difficulties? I'll go back and play this real quick. Obviously, you can tell I'm still not prepared for this stream. But, this project has taken me over a year and a half to make because I literally started from working... knowing nothing about game development, and I've been slowly learning my process along the way of modding this little 4-pack mod. So after this content has been released, obviously the what do you call it, the process of releasing... Oh, my alarm's going off. Didn't prepare for that. Content should come out a lot faster than this initial reveal because I finally know what to do now, because learning how to mod specifically this game is actually a lot more complicated than probably like Unity development. Not on the coding side, but just like in terms of how to get around the limitations of like the Wii U and emulating and all that crap. So, with that said, yeah, you saw at the end there are going to be more characters. There's going to be more tracks that wasn't mentioned in there. I plan on releasing a port to make it compatible with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, especially since that's the more popular game. I just learned how to do this all in the Wii U. You know, my brain's like freaking out right now, so I can't really think coherently for a second. Sorry, guys. This is, again, a lot of work has been finally put out here, and I'm just like holding back emotion right now. I definitely have more ideas for content packs in the future. The first you saw in the little silhouettes there was Adult Link from Ocarina of Time, Zelda, Ganondorf, Adult Malin. There's probably going to be tons of more, like, other Zelda game. What do you call it? Man, my brain cannot think today. Oh, give me a second here. Yeah, it's basically, when I release the download links, they should be in the actual reveal trailer that I just published while the trailer was playing. I'm going to add it to multiple modding sites. It should be on my Google Drive right now. I need to upload it to Mediafire. As far as I know, it only works on CEMU. I haven't tested it on actual hardware yet. And the Switch port will be in the works as soon as I get emulator for that. So that'll be the main thing. Here, where the heck was I thinking here? The last thing I was trying to point out here. No, I was gonna go into what, like, the whole reason why I even wanted to start the project, but I'll do that after the character reveal here, because obviously I'm like stalling and I don't want to keep doing that. So let me jump into CEMU here and we'll start demonstrating off some of the characters, because obviously the trailer only showed you like milliseconds of the footage. So let's shut up Malin for a second here and go to my full screen capture as Mario Kart 8 loads up, and let's get my ugly face off of the screen. So let me go to full screen here, load up Mario Kart 8. You probably heard that Windows sound. We're compiling shaders. Now the volume for Mario Kart may be off a little bit, but oh wait, I need, there we go. Mario Kart 8! And why do I have Connect Cam up? Obviously I'm not prepared for this today. Yeah, I need those things off. There we go. It keeps blinking. I don't want that. Oh wow. You can definitely tell whatever I've been doing the past while, I haven't been prepared for this. Super professional here, guys. Where is the music bar? Let's turn it off. Okay, so first things first, you can notice the background is green. Now, the other menu was supposed to be green too, but I never got that working on release. So, here we go for the first character select screen. We got Ingo over Waluigi, we got Malin over Iggy, and we have Talon over Roy. So, over time, obviously, this will be filled out and completely replaced with Zelda-inspired characters. Such, mostly probably from Ocarina of Time, but I will delve into Wind Waker characters, maybe Twilight Princess characters. We already have Breath of the Wild Link in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we'll probably add way more characters like that over time. Obviously, I have to optimize them to work specifically for this game, so any of the higher poly models that exist may be toned down or completely used as something different to make sure they work. But with enough stalling here, we'll start with Ingo, because he's been the guy that's been the catalyst pretty much for this mod from the beginning. He's been the guy who's already been revealed way before you even knew what the heck this mod was. You know, he's been all over my Twitter. He's been all over my posts. He's basically like my mini mascot at this point. Oh yeah, don't even think of, like, Majora's Mask characters, don't even get me started. I can't wait to start working on those guys. Having so many variants of Link, it'll be like a Dragon Ball Z game where half the roster is Goku, or half the roster will be just variants of Link. That's probably half the project's reason there. But first, we'll start with Ingo. By the way, they do have their own sound effects and their own cart colors. So I'll start off with the carts, because they should have every single animation should be unique. They do use skeletons of the characters they replaced, but I've had to completely like re-rig them, and that was a whole arduous process, and honestly that was probably why the mod took most of the time. So before we get into Hyrule Field, I will do Moo Moo Meadows just for a couple of these things. We'll probably do Ingo on a cart, Ingo on a bike, and then we'll move on to Malin, and then we'll move on to Talon respectively. So here's Ingo. He has his own little horn. Oh, look, there's already Talon out on the track. But he should control pretty much completely as flawlessly as you can for a racer, with exception to how I animate, because I'm still very new to it, so he's not that bad looking. Oh, look, there's Link up front. Here, let's kick his butt. Haha! Maybe I should turn the difficulty up, because I've played this a lot in testing. Does his little kick. A lot of the animations are inspired off of the animations they play in their games. So obviously his first trick animation is based off of when he wins against you in the race in Ocarina of Time and the Gorman Brothers in Majora's Mask. He has a third trick, which is inspired off of when he slaps the horse's butt, except he slaps his own butt. You won't probably see that in this track because it's exclusive to the gravity tricks. So we may move on to another track that showcases that. Now, one thing I did also forget to mention is, right before I explode here, I also plan on replacing most of the carts with the Zelda-inspired ones. So, obviously, an Epona cart, a Ganondorf horse cart, things of that nature will be in this. I'll even like go in depth as to the point where it'll make it look like it's supposed to be ran by like Sheikah technology, just so it'll make more sense in the Zelda lore for racing. If I'm that good at modding it. Whoa! I didn't mean that. Yeah, I definitely need to turn the difficulty up. Oh. Oh boy. I know maybe in a couple future streams I will show, oh, he won. I'll show some of the troubleshooting I've had to do for the project here. Like, I have maybe 9 hours of dev log footage showing the problems of me getting this to work in game. Over the development time, things where Ingo would do his tricks, he completely like just wig out and T-pose and do stuff he was never intended to do. Took forever. Talon was the one that's doing that, me? Oh, you tricky little bastard. Oh yeah, Great Bay. I know. Most of the tracks will be inspired off tricks like that. So, wow, completely brain locked there. Yeah, there's a lot I have planned here. Literally, I can like just think of 8 billion tracks to work on, and having to make them from scratch is going to be the part that will take forever because most of the time they were. All right, we'll do Ingo on a bike now, and we will move to a track called Wario Stadium because it has tricks out the butthole. Yeah, we'll probably up the ante and turn them on hard. But man, you guys don't know how long Ingo has actually been functional. During the entire dev process, and when I finally got his cart animations to work as they were intended, this was probably back in like June, before I even moved here. And that was when I started working on Malin and then Talon, because obviously you want to make sure one character would be completely functional before you start animating the other ones. I've probably played this track at least like 150 times. Yes, I mean, there's no known way to add content to Mario Kart, so the only process I have is to replace content, which is why they take over other characters. So that's why my total end goal will be to just replace and pretty much convert Mario Kart 8 to like a Zelda kart, which is why I ended up calling it Project Hyrule Kart. I mean, Zelda kart sounds a little weird. Oh, look at that kick! Yeah. I think my bike variants of all the characters are some of my favorite. Fun parts I would have for here would be adding physics to the characters. That was a fun process to learn. The only ones that actually take advantage of it are Ingo and Malin. Whenever I'm done being bloopered here, you'll see that his mustache has physics. That was a fun thing to get working. So I thought I'd have to like fake animate it, but it seems to work really well. Basically, it's inspired off of Waluigi's mustache physics. Oh, there's no other Zelda characters on this track. Ingo's alone here. Oh no. There's like a part of me that's really trying not to be too technical on describing how the mod works, because I could explain for hours why this technically shouldn't be possible. But I'll get more in depth on that after all the character reveals here. It seems like each character I've had to work on has had their own little quirk in terms of how to get them to work properly. Like, I mean, uninterestingly, Ingo was probably the least interesting. What the heck did I just say there? But he was just pretty much the catalyst just to get modding working in general. Wow, that's a fast track. But he is the guy who made sure the mod would work. Malin was probably getting hair physics to work right, and a character of a different size to work for a completely different character, if you know what I'm talking about. And Talons, my favorite with Talons was, if you guys never noticed, he does have chickens on him. His Super Cuckoos from Ocarina of Time are with him on this track, and they do little mini animations with him. And that's why he's probably my favorite out of the three. And he was the last one I made, but let's move on to Malin. Let's start with some car animations. A lot of her dynamic stuff is a lot of the same. Ingo has like swapped animations depending on if you're on the bike or on the cart. But Malin should be mostly the same. I'll probably play Mario Circuit because it's quick track. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that feels stupid for keeping this a secret, because obviously a lot of people who would be excited for something of Zelda-esque content probably wouldn't have an emulator just to start playing the mod right off the bat. But obviously I just wanted to keep it secret so someone else could copy me and get it done probably faster if they knew what they were doing. Because if they ended up doing that and I was still learning how to get it done and they just released it, I'd totally be like a mood killer and I wouldn't want to do the mod. So obviously that was probably one big reason why I kept it secret. Oh yeah, I never got to demonstrate. Malin does. Her horn is her singing. Yeah, the biggest part was learning. Oh boy. Oh, that somehow missed me. I remember getting excited for Ingo actually working, but I think once I got Malin working in the game, like, I started grinning every single time I played, because it's like, oh, this is actually turning into something. I'd probably say development-wise, Malin was the easiest to get working, because I finally started getting modding down, and she didn't have a lot to do other than having to make custom textures. Because the fun part about having these quote-unquote, well, I got another horn, minor characters in Ocarina of Time is there's a lot of limitations on what you can do here. As you can obviously tell, they don't have a lot of sound effects in the game. There's a lot of silence in between each and every trick files. You're not hearing them exclaim so much between every trick and every little movement like you'd hear Waluigi or Luigi or Mario. So I did a lot with what I could work with. Oh no! Ah! Oh no, double hit! Oh, I'm not gonna get first place here. Dang. Yeah, I got my butt kicked. Wow. Oh! Are we gonna have to see Malin's lose animation? Yep. I got my butt kicked. That wasn't completely unintentional. Oh, I'm kind of blocking it. Well, her lose animation is totally based off of when she has her headache in Majora's Mask when she's Romani. When she gets abducted by they. I thought that was a very fitting animation. Here, we'll view the highlight reel. Oh, there's Link, too! Oh, I love it when, like, there's always another Zelda character playing. If you guys notice with the horn sounds, the reason why I just ended up using the meme reverb for it is because each and every horn sound is actually its own sound file in this game, and you can't take the raw sound of the horn going off and add like her singing to it. Oh, that would be kind of neat, actually, Shammy. That'd be a good idea. You're almost... The one thing is, you're already making me think of, like, having the Skull Kid as a playable character. And instead of having, like, Talon's chickens, he'd have the two fairies next to him as, like, a compliment to his character. Man, there's so many ideas. I need to start writing things down, just so I wouldn't forget about them. But anyway, we're going to go back to the bike animation for Melon. We're going to skip the smaller bike, because... they have a whole completely set of animations compared to the other bike here. Weird to think that, but my favorite gimmick with Malin was her hop animation. Now, when she's on the speeder bikes, it would be your main. Yeah, see, there's just so many opportunities, and that's why I'm like, this just needs to be made. The only problem is, it's like if I had a team, this would get done so much faster instead of just me. But going back to Malin's speed bike animations. I opted into having this, only speed bikes having her lift up into the air when she's hopping. And I think it looks great, especially when you're like using the cannons and stuff in this game. I always would like to see how much faster the development process would have been if Oh, Ingo, you son of a bitch! If I never opted to doing custom animations. Because I could just obviously put, like, Ingo over Waluigi and just leave the animations be. Trying to get the bones to just look as natural as possible. And that was the original idea. I actually was just going to do custom tricks only and then just use the same driving animations, but they never looked right, so I had to take the effort to learn how to do all the dynamic driving animations and stuff like that, which takes a lot longer than you think. But fun fact, to my knowledge, before... Oh, dang it, I tried to block that. Before I say this, like, way early in the project's development, because obviously it's a thing now, literally a thing like a month or two ago, there were technically no known custom characters that had their own animations that weren't very simplistic for Mario Kart 8, because replacing animations in this game... Oh, I might want to balance audio? Yeah, it is pretty loud. Thanks for doing that, T. Obviously, I am yelling. I am yelling over my own audio. Let's fix that super fast. Maybe I should shut up and just let the game show for itself, but best way to do that is for people to play mod. Probably a little better. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the whole thing about animations. So, yeah, at the time, no. Wow, my brain's all over the place. Am I nervous? I'm also playing and talking at the same time. But yeah, the way custom animations work in this game, there's really no known way to get them to work for, like, to copy the exact way Nintendo did it themselves, because they have their own proprietary animation format, which compresses the file size. So in order to get custom animations, you actually have to, like, bloat the file size, which, oh no, crashes the game once you go over a certain limit here. Hello, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Ah, I'm obviously not going to win this match either. Wow, computers on hard are hard. Ain't that a thing? Hey, there's Ingo. Well, you're about to learn her not first place animation, but not bad animation. She just waves. Oh, Luigi got his butt kicked. He looks so sad. But the whole entire premise of me trying to play this track was to show off the fall animation, because it's something I just love for some reason. So we're gonna go over and do that real quick. Oh, Shammy, Captain Falcon and Dart, don't tell me to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I have been contemplating just adding Sonic to Hyrule Kart just cause. Because like people already have Sonic in Mario Kart, but he uses Mario's animations, and I would love to add like Sonic unique ones. That might be just a side thing as a custom character in the future. Has nothing to do with Project Hyrule Kart. Oh, look, look at that trailer. Oof. But I obviously want to focus on getting this done over time, because this will be a multi-year process unless I like solely focus on it every day like it's a job. Oh, I heard Ingo yelling. So I wonder if we'll get the fall animation here. Oh, no, I didn't get it. You actually have to hold down to get it done. So I obviously failed at showing that off, but that's Malin. And now we're going into one of my favorites, which is Talon, because he has the chickens. I remember for the longest time, getting custom animations for this character select screen was like borderline impossible. And like because the fun thing you don't know is when they're on the menu, they actually like bob their head, and their idle animation bobs to the music in the game. So depending on the track, the chicken emblem, oh yeah, everyone has their own little emblems. So he has the Coco one. Malin should have Epona's silhouette, and then Ingo, I just upscaled his like little emblem he uses when he takes over the Lon Lon Ranch. So he has the most detailed emblem, but the other ones have their own. Yeah, I know. So while we show off Talon, I'm also going to finally show off Hyrule Field, so be prepared. Speaking of Cocos, by the way, if you saw in the trailer, I do plan on replacing all the Mario Kart items with Zelda-inspired ones. So my first thing that I did get working before I accidentally deleted all my own files, was the shells would be replaced by Cocos. They'd have the red Coco with their whatever their top thing is on. They'd have a green one, and then I'd have Kojiro as the blue one with a bomb strapped to his back, flying towards you and exploding. I have the model for that, but it has no function in game yet, so that'll be the planned next pack, whenever I get that done. But here is Hyrule Field as you drive through the market. I always like seeing me drive through this because it took me forever to get like a 1-to-1 scale of the market. Because the best part about driving through it is like there's actually no like complete town model. Since they have to optimize it for the 3DS, they actually had to like cut off the building's back rendering. Ooh, I got exploded there. And stuff like that, so I had to arduously like slowly model it over time. Oh boy, I'm gonna get hit again. Oof. Well, we're driving through the courtyard here right now. Obviously, I had to just stretch it out to make sure his driver could actually drive through it. Oh man. You know, it's hard to show off the track when I'm getting hit every 4 seconds. And here we're driving through the sewers. Fun fact, you were never supposed to be able to drive through here. Whoa, I got the 8. The original intention for this part of the track was to go up to where Zelda, you know, sneaks on watching Ganondorf, and you're supposed to like teleport or glide all the way back to this part of the track. But at the time, I opted into not doing that because I'd have to model like very distant terrain that you would never see by flying off that high. So I took what I think was my brother's idea and made a sewer from the courtyard. I think it worked out pretty well. I think I just blinded myself. Oof. Oh yeah, I guess I could still like repurpose some of the stuff, like the Goombas in Link's Awakening could have their own little obstacle course in track. Man, they are gunning for me today. Yeah, on this, it's funny, as much as I like this track, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do with it that is never, like, implemented into here. One thing I talked about on Twitter was I was supposed to get the Ocarina of Time NPCs to be cheering on the track, too. But with how Mario Kart 8 loads animated assets, it loads it individually compared to static ones like the track itself. So I could technically add them as, like, a frozen statue cheering and, like, forever stopped in time, but I decided not to do that. The only way I could get them to actually load in game is to replace, like, those cheering Koopas and Toads and stuff, and I didn't want to do that yet. So I just have the Mario characters coming in, which is why for the teasers, oh yeah, his horn's the Coco. But he's the most spammable, I think, out of all the horns. But one thing I was trying to do was show that the Mushroom Kingdom was, like, interested in using Hyrule as, like, a track, like a Grand Prix. And obviously it's very cryptic in those teaser trailers, but they sent the message through, like, time and space, and then Ingo just happened to be the guy to find it as it hit him in the head. And then he went to go tell the king. But going back on the thing they weren't able to realize on the track, there's actually supposed to be a way to drive through the alleyway right here. But thanks to me still learning how to do the track editor, I couldn't path it correctly. And it would crash the game whenever you drive through it and you get stuck and stuff like that. So you're supposed to be able to spit out where that fairy fountain is as you go through, like, a tunnel. And it's on the little mini-map thing here, but you can never drive through it. The bridge still works, yeah. That's one of my favorite things that I implemented. You can actually go up the chains and trick off of it if you want to. Not a very viable strategy, but it's fun to do. Oh, there's a collision error. It was really fun figuring out how to do lighting on this track, by the way. You can obviously see that the sewer is supposed to be dark, and for up until literally maybe December, it was never lit properly. So having to figure out how that worked probably took a week and a half or two just to make sure that little area would work as intended. And it still doesn't even work as intended because the characters don't get darker, just the environment does. And there are actually a lot of shortcut potential here. It's just I don't have a lot of opportunities to show you guys because I need mushrooms to do it. As we go through the highlight reel here, you can obviously tell with Talon's tricks that he has a lot of animations based off his 3 or 4 unique animations in Ocarina of Time. His trick animation and when he runs away after you wake him up. Oh wow, there's that collision error. Thanks for showing that off. Literally, that error is only on this part of the track, by the way. I don't know completely why it does it, but I've been trying to figure out and do some bug test debugging to figure out why that area you just can't hit anybody. But he has this run in. Oh wow, is it showing it again? You know, let's just show the full track this time so I can show off some tricks. So he has his run animation when he goes off the ramp. He has a sleeping one, which doesn't work here because you need to be on a gravity track to do that. But yeah, I like when we show off some of the attacks here and stuff. The chickens react depending on what you're doing. So there's him showcasing the 3 Super Cocos as a trick. And then he does the run. But when you do certain things like try to attack the character, the chickens also launch with the item for a frame or two, and then they go back to his head. They also dance when you're winning and stuff like that. They're really fun to do like little mini animations with, which is why I feel like Talon should be... Oops, I don't want to do that. I can't. Talon was like the best for me to animate. Like I couldn't help but smile the entire time I was developing him. But we're gonna show off his bike animation here real quick. They're not too different than his actual kart ones. We're gonna show off Hyrule Field again too. If you ever look at the description on Gamebanana, whenever I actually get around to uploading it, I was actually supposed to hit submit while the trailer's going off, but I was caught up in watching the trailer. Shocker, right? That this track is long. I think it's almost... It's probably as big as like N64 Rainbow Road when you look at it scale-wise. And since it's 3 laps, it's quite an endurance race. Something I never really meant to do, but it obviously, I think it makes for a fun track because there's so much hecticness to it with how long it is. I probably unintentionally love the sewer area because the items go up and down the trail, which literally makes the area like the catch-up spot if you're falling behind and stuff like that. I think one main reason why I figured out this track is so long is because the highlight replays sometimes actually bug out because I think the track is too huge. Or it could be because I'm missing like special camera angles and stuff I haven't implemented onto the track yet. If you ever go and rewatch the trailer at all, especially when it reveals this specific track, you'll notice that it says version 0.8. I think it's 895 or something like that. This isn't the 1.0 release because there's a lot of things I need to still add to the track. It's just considered functional as of the release trailer. I still need to add like custom camera angles for the replays. I need to add lighting fixes. You can obviously tell there's a lot of areas that look like shadows aren't supposed to be there when they're there and stuff like that. Things didn't bake correctly in the lighting because I was learning how to do it while making the track. You're not hitting me! Whee! You don't know how many NPCs I got around to animating before I realized I couldn't add them into the game. There's a Twitter post that showcased at least like maybe 13 or more that had like a couple animations each. Ooh, that was a nice crash. Hey, there's Ingo. I even wanted to have like the Kokiri children like cheering on the gates near Lost Woods because they like technically aren't allowed to leave the forest. Did I just hit Malin? Do we have all 3 characters on this track right now? What a perfect showcase. I even animated the Gerudo. I wanted them to be cheering off the cliffside of Gerudo Valley and have them all ready for like implemented future tracks. One of my second track ideas to start modeling next would have been the pathway up to and getting to Zora's domain. So turning that into a track felt like it'd be a really interesting concept to go around and maybe just make that one a really long track where it's sectioned off. Oh, I dodged that. There was a part of me that really wanted to make sure I had a lot more content coming out, especially with how long it's been in development. But since I was kind of stupid and kept it a secret this whole time, I just opted to making this the initial reveal trailer so I could be allowed to stream the modding process for all future content, so I could just show it off and make it as a stream. Because there are so many times where I wanted to stream me making the mod and testing it and being with you guys during that whole entire process. And now I can do it, thanks to the final reveal of Project Hyrule Card. The Attack Ghost, it just has like the Running Man icon. Be the Running Man icon. Oh, you guys are coming up with so many ideas I never even thought about doing. Oh, I'm gonna get hit here. Oh, since I'm gonna go, I'm gonna take a shortcut anyway. I already got hit. I think one of my favorite things that I wanted to do very early on was to use the Temple of Time blocks as the ramps. I think that was one of my most clever things because you can place them anywhere. So it's like a Master Quest thing where they're just jutting around existing in the levels. One of the things I don't like about my current track is there are a lot of there's like a lack of indicators of what does what. So when you go off the glider here, obviously there's no little blue thing that shows it's you're supposed to be gliding. So the only way you'd know is to watch me play it, pretty much. And stuff like that. I want to make sure and change that in the future patches and make it more Mario Kart-esque in terms of that kind of level design. I obviously want to smooth out the track too, because it's really bumpy. Pick the postman driver. Yep. Ah! Master Quest is my favorite ROM hack. It is literally Super Mario Bros. 2 Japan for Zelda games. Oh yeah, look at that. Malin and Ingo did pretty good this match too. I almost want to show off the highlight reel for them too, because they're NPCs. Well, yeah. Once I got Ingo working, my brain just went crazy with the potential. Beetle, bye. He'd probably be one of the most fun to get implemented into the sound effects and stuff.
Thank you.
Oh look, it actually showed the ending this time. Why? The mod all of a sudden works when I demonstrate it. I've played this and watched the highlight reel like 60, 70 times, and every single time it bugged out. And it would show me in first place when I didn't complete the track yet. That's so weird. Alright, let's show off Melon real quick. Let's see how she played as an NPC. It's always so fun to see the other characters when I'm not playing with them. I probably also want to improve on some of the water physics and stuff like that. Look at her go! Oh, she threw that at me? Oh! There's Ingo. I literally can't wait to learn how to replace carts. That one's not really hard to do, but I haven't done it yet, so that'll be a learning process. Alright, now let's do talent. Oh, he got a double hit there. Good for him. Oh wait, we already did this one. My brain's freaking out. I thought I was Ingo in this track. It's starting to blend together. Oopsie poops. My apologies. Ooh, he hit the wall there pretty hard. One aspect. Oh, he hit me. You son of a bitch. Way late into this mod's development, I actually never thought about replacing the colors for their carts. So through a lot of my development footage, Ingo has Waluigi's colors. And he also had the sound effects for Waluigi. He had them for so long, I actually started calling Ingo Waluigi in a lot of my devlogs. Just Freudian slipping it all the time. Like, I even got used to it. Like, when I thought of Ingo, I thought of Waluigi noises. So, it's so funny to think that, like, my brain scrambled itself in the middle of making this mod. But yeah, that's basically Hyrule Carts. I know I'm not very long on the live stream, so I'll probably demonstrate a couple more races and tracks and stuff. I'll probably turn it down more. Well, Ingo is the other Waluigi. Yeah, I felt like that'd be one criticism of this mod is when you do think about it, Ingo and Talon are pretty much just like Mario and Luigi clones that I've added to Mario Kart, which include Mario and Luigi. But I felt like I made them distinct enough to make them really unique-looking characters. I guess what I'm going to do now is demonstrate the characters a couple more times while I talk about the concept of the initial concept of Project Hyrule Kart. Because actually, at this point, I don't really have anything else to show off. I can probably start submitting the actual files to be available for download. They do have a README that shows you how to install it for SEMU, so hopefully you don't have crashing issues and stuff like that. Obviously, this game hasn't been tested with other mods, so if you have other characters that add characters over characters, the game will probably crash. But let's go back to the conception of Project Hyrule Kart. Obviously, it was never called that from the beginning. Why did I ever think about doing this in the first place? Well, let's think. If you saw the trailer music is called Horse Race EU version. It is basically a Silver Gunner, high-quality rip of Ingo's Horse Race music, demonstrated in the style of Initial D. It is fantastic. I loved it. I listened to it a lot. And the way it's styled, my brain while listening to it at work was pretty much like, man, this sounds a lot like a Mario Kart. trailer for like Zelda content. And I'm like, who would be the best to show off that trailer? And over time listening to it tons and tons of times while I was at work cleaning cars, I was like, Ingo obviously would be the best because it's horse race music. You race Ingo with this music. And my brain kept thinking of a trailer of Ingo racing around in Mario Kart. And it fleshed out more and more and more over time. And I was like, well, you can't just show off Ingo. The way the trailer works off like the music beats and stuff, it sounds like you can get up to 4 reveals. And over time, like, who would be the best fit to add more characters to? Well, we're obviously horse and ranch related, so I had to get the other characters in Lon Lon Ranch in the trailer in my head. I was like, Malon would be awesome because everybody loves Malon. She's like the cutest thing in the world. And, you know, the joke with adult Malon is thick Malon for mod loader, but I was like, having all 3 of those characters in the trailer would be great, but what would be the 4th thing? My brain thought maybe Ocarina of Time Link would have been just like an easy 4th character pick. But more and more over time, I was like, they obviously need a track. And as I was thinking of the trailer in my head, I was like, having Hyrule be like an actual track in the game would be amazing. How could I get this trailer made? I want this trailer to be a thing. I want it to exist. So, to put it simply, the whole entire reason why Hyrule Kart exists is because I just wanted to make a trailer showing off Ingo, Malon, and Talon in a what-if Mario Kart 8 scenario. And I was like, I need to make this, and that means I need to figure out how to mod. I need to figure out how to mod. And a year and a half later, here we go. And I would love to thank KillZX Gaming. If you ever heard of him, he's the guy who actually makes the Mario Kart 8 track editor. It is such a streamlined process to make the track like really quickly. And honestly, making the track working game was probably the fastest thing for me to get working. Ingo, Malon, and Talon probably took way longer than getting this track done. Want to get into Zelda randomizers again? I know. You should probably get into the PC port then. Just having the 60 FPS mode and the more fleshed out randomizer just makes it so much more fun. But yeah, that's the whole reason why this mod exists. I think it's funny that that song, I can solely thank whoever composed that version of the song, is the whole entire reason why this whole thing kicked off from the beginning. Oof. You know, I just realized my, for some reason my chat window has stopped updating. Oh. Oh! Dang it! Oh, my brain's drawing a blank right now. Showing off more of the track. Oh yeah, so I guess I'm going back to thanking people again. There we go. Again, KillZX Gaming, he just ended support for the toolbox. Oh, how was our day? So far, fantastic. You know, during the countdown, you should have seen, like, the adrenaline shooting through my body as my heartbeat was, like, getting nervouser and nervouser that the countdown was actually happening. That actually makes me want to delve into the funniest moment I think about this. The funniest to me, personally, about this project was having to think about what the trailer would look like, like a million times in my head. I would like to say, like, when I actually got the first version of the trailer rendered, and I watched it, like, honestly, this was probably done, like, 2 weeks ago. I teared up. I teared up, and I was like, holy shit, this thing is, like, actually existing in the real world now. It's not just in my brain. And I wonder how many people who make, like, movies and stuff get that same emotion. Because obviously, I wasn't able to make the exact one-to-one trailer that was in my head, but I got pretty much the basic concept of what I wanted out into existence, and something about that, like, just made me cry tears of joy. And honestly, while the whole trailer was being revealed, I was holding back doing it again, and I was like, dang it, can't get emotional now. I have to be excited, not emotional. So I think that's one of the funniest things about this trailer finally being done. Yeah, I do. I'm happy that it's actually out, because now I can, like, work on the next thing. there's a part of me that like wants to take like a 3-month break because working on this every other day for the past year and a half feels taxing. Learning it all, but since I know what to do now, I feel like I should just roll with it and just keep making. Like, what you guys don't know is I'm already working on Pack 2. Like, after the trailer got rendered, like 2 weeks ago, I've already been getting to work on Zelda. Zelda's been a functional character, and she'll have one of my favorite new gimmicks out of these 3 characters. So, I'm going to keep that part a little bit of a secret. Obviously, it probably wouldn't take too much thought to realize why she'd be a cool character in this game. But you'll see whenever I start doing development streams. I think I might do those on Twitch, though. So be prepared for a lot of Zelda music in the background while I'm slowly working on Blender stuff for that. Let's go be Malin now, since I've played as Ingo a couple times. I know one thing late in development was getting the HUD to change to be Zelda-esque is going to be quite a process because I'm not the best UI developer. If you obviously saw like the little thumbnail of Hyrule Kart there, making that in Photoshop in like 10 minutes to try and look like it fits into Mario Kart 8, I think it's kind of funny, and doing HUD stuff. Obviously it looks way more lower quality compared to actual Nintendo developers, but I feel like it gives a little bit of a my unique editing style out there. I know. I feel like these are really cool. I think one area that my brain locked up on was getting these characters to be animated in the game is actually like an arduous process. Because the Switch Toolbox, which is the editor for the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, all on my own, I know. It's literally like, you think most people who work on games like this have, I wouldn't say hundreds of people, but tens of people who specialize in like one thing. Like they're good at modeling, or one person's good at animating, one person's good at the sound design. I'm obviously not good at any of that, but being a little bit okay in all of them obviously makes me able to do a lot of this. So I can't wait to flesh out the tracks mostly because a lot of the texture work is like from the 3DS and getting them upscaled properly, getting them lit properly, ouch, is going to be a fun learning process. But there's a part of me that wanted to re-texture Hyrule Field to just be in the art style of Mario Kart 8. Like, you know Moo Moo Meadows and its dirt textures and stuff like that? I wanted to like replace the grass texture with that and see what it would look like and see if it'd be worth replacing it with those. Just because they're a lot more crisp and stuff like that. So I might take time to stop the... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to get hit now. I might take time to stop development on pack number 2 to TLC pack 1. Or at least go through concept phases of what it would look like with different textures. Because Mario Kart 8 does support things like normal mapping and things that make like specular reflections look a lot better than just 3DS textures that don't have those. But I do think Mario Kart 8's engine does do a lot of the pretty work for this level, because this does not look like this in Blender at all. You know, with the bloom, the way it renders some of the shadows and stuff like that. Looks pretty good. I do have to admit, in the track development here, everything that has been modeled in this track, with exception of Hyrule Field's field layout, has been completely custom modeled. Now, obviously, that's not hard because a lot of these are squares, so Xeno, the professional square modeler. That's why I ended up opting out making Hyrule Field just a rip. Like, I literally ripped it from the 3DS and just scaled it to work as a track. I edited it, so obviously it would have the trails and stuff work and be embedded into the ground, or else you'd be driving on slow grass the whole time. So I feel like I did enough to convert the ripped track to be passable in terms of a custom track instead of just a direct rip. if I go through the Blender file here in a little bit, I'm getting Mario Karted. I did start with the center of the track being the town, because I felt like they'd be the easiest to model since, you know, houses are squares. Making squares look organic, you don't have to. Dang it. I'm in third. Can I get a mushroom, please? That's not a mushroom. Can I hit him? I got him! Haha! They're getting... Ooh, I fell! Getting all this to look right is so cool looking. I think I put way too much work into getting the detail down because you don't really see it. You drive past it so fast. So, honestly, maybe what I'll do here is show off some of the work I had to do in the time trial mode, just so we can look at some of the stuff. Because there's a lot of detail missing in the town. Stuff I never wanted to add, thinking I'd have a... Oh, I fell again! I'd have, like a polygon budget limit. Because you think about it, the Wii U is really old, and a lot of the modders who've made their own custom tracks say you can really only have about 300,000 polygons to a Mario Kart 8 track. And so I was really, like, paranoid on how many polygons I was adding in, and once I got done with the town, I think I only had 25,000 polygons, so I had a lot to work with. So maybe in future patches I'll add a lot more pretty detail to it. Like the a lot of the pots with flowers and stuff don't exist in the level yet, and I feel like I should take time to add them onto every single little windowsill and stuff like that. Just the stuff that gives it that little extra touch, even though it probably wouldn't matter because you'd be driving past it in 3 seconds. But I feel like it just really helps with the authenticity of the mod. Don't hit me! No! I want to get first place for once! No! Dang it! Oh, and I'm not even gonna get second! No! I know I won't shut up enough about it, but I definitely say that it's because I'm playing light card. Oh yeah, thank you, T. The reveal. Again, there's only like one place uploaded right now because I was supposed to get them all prepped to hit publish as the trailer's playing, and I got caught up watching the trailer, so I gotta go play heavy to win. Yeah, fun fact, Malin is a medium card because she takes over Iggy. She's actually a little bit bigger than you think, which I need to probably get her scaled properly. So that's one thing I did learn while modding this, is you can't like pick and choose what class they can be. They are already described as the size they are for the character they take over. So when people like add Sonic over Mario and then move Mario to Metal Mario, Mario turns into a heavy character, whether you want to or not. So I'm really happy with this. I guess we'll be Melon in a cart while we go through the time trial track and show things off. Well, one thing that hyped me up while I was making the mod was, at the time, this was like back in April, maybe even March, there were really no custom animated characters in Mario Kart 8 because of how hard it is to get working. A lot of the characters that were custom were characters ported from Mario Kart Tour, or they were really simplistic characters like Rob the Robot. So I felt very, I don't know, high and mighty when I started getting Ingo to work into the game. But, yeah, again, you can obviously tell this area was like ripped from the 3DS port right here. I added a couple Yoshis you never really see because of how the terrain layout works. But they do cheer and they watch you as you drive by, even though they won't see you for 4 minutes because of how huge the track is. This area was supposed to have all the Hyrule NPCs from Kakariko Village cheering you on right here. You saw that for a millisecond in the trailer, but that was all just poorly green screened on because they do not function in the game yet. Until I start replacing assets from Mario Kart over with them. That'll be a thing I might ever, like, not ever do, but we'll see. There's obviously the mushroom jump here. Honestly, I might tweak this because you always end up hitting the wall there as you drive on by. We have this whole area gated off. I don't know why I added the Temple of Time blocks to block off Long Long Ranch, but they're over there if you ever pay attention, taking up precious polygon count. A lot of the trees are just copy-pasted from other areas. Actually, now that I think about it, there are, I think, 3 or 4 trees over there. So, I'm more inaccurate, guys. Get that fixed. You can still drive on the chains. You saw that happen over the demonstration. This whole wall here actually is drivable. So, you could just stick to it like Spider-Man. The whole point of this is as you're driving really fast on it, you can trick off of it. Just so if you can pull off that little Easter egg of climbing up the chains, you can do that. Now, it's not like an actual shortcut or anything yet. There's a part of me that makes me think if I can get collision working on the roofs, I could do that as you just like jump over the houses, but you would obviously like fall in between and get punished for it. I'm thinking that might be a change to do something like that. But I opted in for simple wall collisions for now, so the collisions in the game are like 10 stories tall, so you can't clip through the houses at all. I did that for collision simplicity's sake. One of the more accurate things on the 3DS port, oh, I hit the mushroom button, is that you do jump over these boxes and barrels here, which are actually in that area of the game. I thought that was fun, placing that over. There's Yoshi's shadow there for some reason. That's clipping through the geometry because they're back there. That's kind of funny. One area you never saw in Ocarina of Time was like the area in between the market and the entrance. So this whole area I modeled for no reason, showing off like its own extra alleyway. I'd love to animate that flag, but it's static geometry. I think this would be a cool area to explore in Ocarina of Time if it looked like this. Obviously, I took my own art direction on what it would look like instead of just a jumble of houses. There's like a fountain in the center over there. People have boxes of stuff. There's player houses. I had a lot of fun with In the Liberty with some of the geometry that you don't even really see in the level. Here's another dead-end alleyway with a gate. The gate's mostly there because if you know about how, like, I wouldn't say churches, but the Temple of Time actually has a field to the right of it. And if we go over towards the Temple of Time, or we get an aerial view, that's all field there, along with that building you do see in Ocarina of Time. So, I had a lot of fun making that area, too. Because obviously the bazaar's textured. The, part of the potion shop is textured. There's no text on it, but there's the pot there. Getting those wall textures to work properly was actually a little tricky, because the way the 3DS renders it is actually, it uses like a hue saturation slider, and I had to like go into Photoshop and hue saturate edit each and like every individual house texture, so they have their own unique colors. The Happy Mask Shop is actually textured wrong. Don't. I mean, do expect that to get changed soon. It's tinted wrong. Alright, have a good night. Here is the Temple of Time. I honestly spent so much time modeling this because I don't know why. You never really even see it. You drive by like the corner of it. Like this could be a 2D billboard and it would still function as well as it should. But it's 3D modeled in there just in case for any reason. Maybe for future tracks? I don't know. There's a part of me that even wanted to make variants of Hyrule Field where you would drive off into Temple of Time and then maybe drive through the Master Sword and then go spawn out into like the future version of Hyrule Field where the market's destroyed and stuff like that. I've had a few ideas like that. Or you just take alternate paths. Which is why I do want to get to that area where the alleyways are back there. You can kind of see some dirt there. It's actually really tough to see. You're supposed to be able to fall into a big tunnel there and go around and get spit out where that fairy fountain is, where the Temple of Time blocks are blocking it. So this whole little area, again, a lot of detail that you don't see. I don't know why I took the time. I think there's another fountain here with a couple houses. Still probably will add all the flowers to every single windowsill just because. I do like this area specifically just because you get a different view of the Temple of Time that you don't. Oh no, there's geometry clipping! I have failed! Mods get deleted right now. No, I'm just kidding. Wow, I never noticed that. Yep, that is just floating texture right there. You can obviously tell though, man, how many times have I said obviously here? Take a shot every time I've said that. This area is custom model. You can tell by just how simple, more simplistic the geometry is compared to the actual ripped level. It's a lot bigger, so you have more space to drive a cart around in and stuff. The scale is a lot bigger. If I can get the right angle there, you could probably actually see the tunnel exit there. It is huge compared to the little tunnel you crawl through as a kid. There it is. So, very... Yeah, a Linus, obviously, emote. I wish I even had emotes, but I think I'd have to get those set up once you get, like, live partnered or whatever. You're supposed to be able to ramp off of there and glide up to this shortcut here. That was the original intention of that whole entire area. It did work very early on when I was testing the track back in early December, but NPCs would get stuck in the ground, and you get stuck by Lakitu. Lakitu would just get stuck on top of the ceiling and just... it would soft lock the game. So until I got that fixed, I just edited the track and put Temple of Time blocks in the way until those work. Now, it's not even a shortcut because you actually have to go and drive way a lot longer around the track to get it done, but I wanted to make it like an Easter egg to show, remember the alleyway in Ocarina of Time? Well, you can go through it now, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, it literally is like the drivable area you're not supposed to be in Mario Kart 64. It's such a shame you can't do that in Mario Kart 8. You can tell I obviously really widened this area so you can get carts around and stuff. If you see the scale of the door versus how big it is in the actual level, this area is way bigger than it's supposed to be. You know, making room so you can actually drive a cart through this area here. I even like added like girders here so the water does still flow properly and you can drive over it. I just reused the Temple of Time gates. I thought that looked kind of neat. Wow, the scale on this level is really huge. There's the whole area where that water fountain drops down. I really wish I was able to at least get the Hyrule guards animated in the level because they're everywhere in, you know, Ocarina of Time, and they'd be one of the easiest characters to have cheering. Especially around here. You know, they could be standing on the little garden thing up here and stuff like that, but I just opted in to have some Toads and generic Mario characters. Here's a funny thing here. I know it's really hard to see with the lighting of this track, but that's Ingo on a Hyrule cart, on a Hyrule bike, as a statue. And the only reason why I thought it'd be funny to do this is because I didn't want to model the royal, what do you call them? The royal family, because in Ocarina of Time 3D there is a royal family statue there. And since I don't know how to model humans to save my life, I was like, you know, I'll just put Ingo there on a cart in celebration of having Hyrule be accepted into Mario Kart 8 universe. And then we have the huge long tunnel, which I still, as much as I like the chaoticness of the items here, I think it is too drawn out. It is really long, and it's mostly because there's so much distance between the castle and the field. Here is that whole area down here. There's a lot of NPCs you don't even see. And this area right here. There was a time where I tried putting the Hyrule guards from the Hyrule track that's actually DLC in Mario Kart 8. But as far as I know, the only way you can get DLC content to work in base content is to just have it take over a DLC track, or else the game crashes. So I was always wondering why my track kept crashing when they were loaded in. Oh no, I hit the time limit. Oops. This is how you know, obviously, tracks weren't designed to be so huge. That, what's the word here? Time trial was supposed to be completable with them. Because I think even with all 3 laps, you can't get this done in less than, like, 6 or 7 minutes. Which is really stretching it. But we're going to go drive through real quick and continue describing the laziness part of Hyrule Field, where is Hyrule Field? And in order to do that, I actually have to drive through it, because you can't drive backwards without Lakitu bringing you around. So we'll just keep on driving. It's really weird to think that I'm only 1 hour live in so far, because I felt like I talked so much. I guess time is just being slow for me. You know, back when I would stream randomizers with my brother, you know, we'd be easily 4 hours in on a live stream. But I feel a lot more exhausted describing so much. I'm literally like just exploding with me giving out all the knowledge of the track and stuff. But I think one thing I'll do to end off the stream here after we're done with the time trial part is to show some of the modeling in my Blender file, and then I'll end the stream and let some of the footage I'm going to post later speak for itself. Okay, this is where we hit the time limit on. Wow, that specific pole looks not rendered right. That's not good. There's like a big black thing on it. Hyperbolic, I know. You can see how bumpy this track is. I literally had to like follow it, and then I added so many polygons to try and smooth it out. I actually failed and made it extra bumpy. Now again, this is where the Gerudo were supposed to sit down and cheer. And for a while I actually had like Koopa Troopas, Paratroopas, and Yoshis all on the sidelines here cheering. But due to how apparently I loaded the level, their shadows clipped through the ground. Like the... Where's my mouse? You see my mouse on there barely? Yeah, I stood up here, and their shadows casted through this onto the ground here, and that's not realistic at all, and it's very distracting, so I just deleted them, and it's a very dead-looking part of the track. I kept my mushrooms. If you looked here, there's actually a Temple of Time ramp. You can ramp over that, and if you have mushrooms, this area is a huge, huge shortcut, because if you can keep your speed momentum here the whole time, it does count your checkpoints along this part of the track here. Completely intentional, because you can see by me adding gates here, you can't cut through completely, but you can still take a huge chunk of the level out. So if you have like a star or a gold mushroom or the 3 mushrooms, that is the area to really catch up. And that's why I think this track works really well with a lot of items, because it's huge and it gives you time to catch up and not drag behind. Oh! But yeah, there we go. That is Project Hyrule Kart Release 1. As I'm right here, I'm actually going to disable my screen and get my Blender file set up here. So let's get rid of that. I'm going to close my game off, play some music. Drunk Melon music. I should, yeah, just say intermission. That's good. I'll probably load up the Mario Kart Track Studio version first, because there's a lot of stuff I can demonstrate in terms of collision and stuff like that there. So we're getting to the technical part of the stream, if you guys are so interested in that. It's taking its time to load. I apologize.
Yeah!
By the way, this stream is Christian approved, whether he knows it or not, because I have him on my soundboard, so... Alright. I'm going to turn the music down. Switch songs, and transition over to our screen here. Okay, so for some reason the track always loads underground, which is actually something I can explain here in a little bit. Here is the level editor version of the track. So we can go explore areas we were never meant to. I guess I'll hit play, because why not? We'll let all the characters animate, the water animate, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff in here we're not supposed to see. Let's go over to the marketplace first. So there's the big field you never see, except maybe a little bit in the camera pan in the beginning of the track. That's a whole big field where people gather around and do stuff, because, you know, I always assume religion-wise the Temple of Time is like a big church, and this is where they would all come together. And I don't know, I overthought this to a huge degree. And they have this little area here. I kind of wish I added more detail to it, but you never really see it in the track anyway, so I'm kind of happy I didn't. And it saved a lot of rendering budget. Here's the better perspective of the fountains and stuff you'd see here. I would wish I had more NPCs. Thank you, T. Yes, the mod is available for download in the trailer description. I haven't updated the description in this live stream because I'm streaming it and I don't want to stop and add links to it yet. Here's this whole area. Getting the lighting, by the way, the shadows and stuff to load in Mario Kart is a bitch, because you have to bake the lighting, and for some reason Blender really hated the way I had this level set up, and it took me like maybe 40 different attempts to bake the light. Mind you, baking lighting takes hours depending on your GPU. If you have a render farm, it could take minutes. But since I have one computer to render it, it takes usually 40, 50 minutes to do one bake light attempt. And if it corrupts or it doesn't work the way at all because you had it set up wrong, that's all that time wasted. So me baking this, 30, 40 times is a big reason why I did lose a lot of time in developing the track. If I just had the 3 characters to be released, honestly, this mod probably could have come out in like October. But since I really wanted to make sure a Zelda track was in the initial release, just to give that like extra oomph of a cool mod, I took the time to get that done. Here is the Temple of Time in all its modeled glory. The fake doors are fake as F. The water is still highly resolution, even though you never really see it. Bunch of trees that rendered off in the distance like it does at that special perspective you see like right here that you always saw on the 3DS. Probably one of the funnier things is Death Mountain is actually moved over. What's the word here? Probably like a good mile off in the distance. Mostly because with how big it is to make it look like it's a bigger mountain than it actually is in the distance, it would actually clip through the level, like right where the turn for here would be. If you go through a lot of the rip files for Ocarina of Time, you're never really supposed to see Death Mountain more than really far away. So in each and every different loaded instance, it would be somewhere like right here in the level geometry, just zoomed out to make it look like it's a huge mountain in the distance. So I had to scale it up even bigger and move it over that way. So it kind of looks like it belongs where it's supposed to, but it's still off by a little bit. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty decently detailed. Once we open the Blender files, you'll actually see how much more I could technically add to this level before we start getting into the lagging of Mario Kart 8. So there's a lot of more trees there. It looks like a lot of their shadows didn't bake very well, but you don't really see them. There's geometry that you aren't supposed to see, but you won't see it in the gameplay anyway. A lot of tile textures that tried to give it a higher resolution. I do wonder how well upscaling these with AI would look like. Ooh, here we go. There's the part where I really wanted to go into the editor the entire, to begin with. Jeez, I stuttered. So, if these were in the way, and at one point in development they weren't, and I actually drove through here and tried to go through here, here's an extended version of the alleyway, which I wondered if I should make darker or something. With very basic, oh my gosh, the hooks don't even have textures. The hooks that hold the clothes here, it's a good thing this doesn't work in game. That's hilarious. But yeah, you're supposed to be able to drive through here and go into a huge tunnel where you'd have boost pads to help you catch up underground and come through here. And again, there's no actual boost pads here. And then you would ramp out and glide and hit this area of the track to catch up with everybody. That part I was so excited for, like, to get working in the game, and since it kept crashing on me and bugging out, I just decided to close it off. But it still exists in the level, even though you can't do anything with it. Taking up render budget. So much for optimization, am I right? There's those trees you see in the distance. There's the ones in the Lost Woods you'd see in the distance. There's Lake Hylia out in the distance. Let's go into the castle. The funny part about the castle is there's a lot of roofing. Like the roof there, a lot of that doesn't exist. And I mean, you'd never see it, obviously. You know, game dev tricks. All this whole area. You don't really even see it in like replays and stuff. But it's here. If you ever looked in the original 3DS port, their actual... Oh, wow, that uses the water texture. That looks embarrassing. This whole area here is actually in the 3DS model, and I don't know why I decided to model it too, just in case people would ever pay attention to look through water mirrors for some reason. Again, it's not supposed to be doing that, but you never really get to actually take a look at the whole side of the courtyard anyway. But it's there for authenticity. Probably has the same amount of polygons as the 3DS version, even though it's completely custom modeled anyway. But, yeah, again, the original intent was to drive towards this way and go up towards where this area doesn't exist. And Mario 64 window, it's fine. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you just jump through it and you load into a completely different level. Pwing! I almost have a sound effect for that. But yeah, there's a part of me that wants to make a variant of this track where you like turn into anti-gravity and like ride up the what do you call it? That hexagonal part of the building where Zelda is in Zelda's courtyard, and then that's where you would ramp off and go back to a Hyrule field. I feel like that would work too, but again, I'd have to also model geometry that's like over here that you don't see in this level. And I don't know what I would put there other than like really low poly Gerudo Valley textures and stuff like that. So just to save time, I opted to making the sewer level instead, because I wouldn't know how to make that work back then. Like, this was before I knew how gliding worked in Mario Kart 8's track editor. My original idea was to have like a pedestal of light be in the center of the courtyard, and you would drive through it, and then you just warp. And I expected you could do that in the editor and have just like code that would say warp to here. You can't do that, so I had to change a lot of things for that. The spiral staircase at the end of the hall goes to a window that launches you ahead of the sewer exit. Yeah, that's the original intention that I had way back in the early concept phase of the track. But I do like the sewer. I don't know why I call it the sewer, because it's literally just like a river exit to it, which is something that probably doesn't even exist technically in Hyrule Field, but I think it looks neat. I want to try and figure out how to fake these emitting light to give it better, I don't know what's the word. I had the word in my head. Ambience, I think is the word. I wanted the sewer to actually have like walkable parts here, but I felt like that would interfere with driving the cart around, and since it's a very condensed area, you know, it's already hard enough to drive here. I mean, you can hit these, for God's sake. These can actually screw you over in this part of the level, and that... Yeah, I know. Granddad?
Yeah!
So I almost feel like I should remove the arches, but again, this area is so primitive. Even having those arches, I felt like added just enough to sell the sewer look of this area. I would love to completely redo it in the future. So once we're done driving through all this area here, you guys obviously know this entire part of the track because I showed it off live, and there's really nothing else I could show other than me having to actually add like water collision. It just ends there. I think if you can actually drive under that, and then Lakitu will bring you back to the track. Obviously not a shortcut, but you can do it. Here's the part where I think we'll get into some interesting aspects of the design of Mario Kart levels. So we're going to enable Collision Editor. This is exactly what the game sees when you're actually driving. So there's really, really no way, like, you have to really hack the game to go off and explore Hyrule Field because the walls are so high in collision here. But if you ever manage to actually make it out, you can't drive. There is collision for Hyrule Field right there. I don't know why I have it enabled. You could just fall through the level. But yeah, this whole spot here, you can see the little chain collision there. There's the little thing there. If you notice, you do clip through this like little bit of the model here, but that's so you can ramp off of it properly instead of just go straight up. I just intentionally did that. And it does look bad when you drive through it, but I feel like it's passable. Made the walls really high here so you can't jump over them. Again, I think it'll be cool if you can ramp over the houses. Especially if I add like a little bridge intersection. Almost kind of like how like Assassin's Creed has those like little bridges in between houses where you can like run across them. It'd be cool to have little bridges there and have splitting pathways. There's so many ideas I could have here. But I guess that's really it for the model here. Time to go open the Blender file. So I'm going to close this off and show you the raw like polygon count and stuff. I think the track editor could tell you that, but I'd rather just open up the level. All right. I have to go find it first because there's so many files here. There's Ingo. Oh, I think it's actually on my desktop. So Blender models, remade Hyrule Field, Hyrule Field assets. Which one is it? There's like 17 different versions here, by the way. Hyrule Field chunks, Hyrule Field collision version. Combining objects version. I guess this is like the final model of Blender. I think this only shows the collision right now, so I'll hide everything. Let's keep that hidden there. Alt H. Or is it Control H? Oh, Blender is literally freaking out right now. Okay, we'll disable the collision again, because there we go. Okay, so here's the Blender model. As of the current iteration, excluding collision polygonal data, the entire track is 130,774 polygons. So I'm actually about half render budget for what you can have for a Mario Kart track. So there's a lot I could probably add to make it look prettier here. And I'm kind of happy I was able to keep it this low to make sure it really wouldn't have to crash. Like imagine, or lag. And that's why I was so paranoid in making the level. Way back when it was just the town, I think the town is 20 or 35,000 polygons before the tunnel. And that whole area had to be, I don't know. It's funny that I was just so paranoid. I just have to put it that way. But I guess I'll shut up here and maybe finally end the stream. So, yes, the trailer is out. The project is just getting started because there's a lot more to add, but the first pack is done and available now. I'm going to start posting the actual mods. There will be links to my Discord in the trailer description, not this one, and it should be in my README file to the mods and stuff. So if you guys ever have crashing problems, I'll try and make a section in my Discord if I can help us troubleshoot it. Obviously, I won't be able to get to everyone live 24/7, but that's why you can post it there so I can respond to it eventually and stuff like that. But here we go. The mod's out. I feel like I deserved a pizza. I'm getting hungry. I might go get that pizza right when I end the stream here. Thanks, everyone, for joining me for the reveal trailer. And you know what? We'll actually end off with watching it one more time. So thank you all for joining me. Let's go listen to the project one more time. Prepare your ears because this is a loud trailer. Let me close down Blender real quick and play it. I hope everybody has a good night, and anyone who is able to enjoy the mod, hope you have fun with it. By the way, you will see this a lot in my counting down streams, just because I'm advertising